Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be breaking into the line of the E100. Now, of course, the E100 is a Tier 10 Super Heavy that carries one massive punch at that, a 15-centimeter gun dealing 640 damage per shot. That is enough to really rock your socks if you're playing any Tier 10 medium or even a heavy tank at that. That's like a fourth of your hit point pool. And we're not only going to be talking about the E100, but as well, the E75 and the Tiger 2. One thing that I love about YouTube is there's a lot of competition. YouTubers like Meaty, Pantufor, basically any other YouTuber out there can make a video on the Tiger 2, the E75, and the E100. And I bet there are hundreds of videos out there that are talking about these vehicles. But there's usually not a video that breaks the whole line down. So in today's video, we are not only going to be talking about the Tiger 2, but then we're going to play in the E75 and then the E100, telling you each one of their points of view, in my opinion, their armor profiles, and everything else you need to know if you ever wanted to grind one of the most popular Tier 10 heavies currently in World of Tanks Blitz. So starting off with the Tiger 2. This vehicle is outright incredible. First of all, we break into the gun. It's got .308 dispersion, and with an aiming time of 3.6 seconds, this gun is honestly more accurate than some Tier 10 mediums, especially vehicles like the Patton, and it's on par accuracy with the STB-1. That is impressive. The gun is really accurate. As well, it's got good damage per minute at 2104. It's got great standard penetration at 225, and on the premium, oh man, 285 is enough to butter through even the thickest of Tier 8 and even sometimes Tier 9 heavy tank armor. The average damage is a little bit lower than, your IS series tanks at 310, but it's a nice sweet spot because you're able to trade shots with mediums and not have to suffer from your reload compared to vehicles like the IS-5 with their 12-second reload would compared to the 8.84 on this vehicle. It's got 7 degrees of gun depression, which is plenty to work any ridgeline, and when we take a look at the mobility, it goes basically 40 kilometers per hour with a great average speed of 27. For how heavy this tank is, weighing in at 70 tons, that's quite impressive. This tank can get some very good rams out, and you're going to see when I am driving it in actual game, it's not that slow at all. Now, breaking into the armor profile of the Tiger 2, this is the M3O, the latest Tier 8 in the game aiming at the vehicle, and its pen is pretty impressive, 225 on the standard and 253 on the premium, and well, you can't pen it. That is how thick the Tiger 2's armor is. It's 231 thick on the front, and on the lower plate, it's 232. Yes, that is right. Most of the time, especially the German heavies, they have very weak lower plates that are easily penetrated, but not for this tank. It's actually a very troll vehicle. Even if you're angling it, of course, which makes the armor thicker, you get it up to 240 and 240 as well. That means even heat shells from the M3O will struggle and suffer to penetrate the upper plate and lower plate unless, of course, you're running calibrated shells. Now, most Tier 10s can penetrate, or not Tier 10s, but most Tier 8s, sorry about that, can penetrate the frontal armor of a Tiger 2 if they're running the right ammunition. A vehicle like the Sheriff, if you're running heat and calibrated shells, you can penetrate it, but most people don't always want to run calibrated, and most Tier 7 and 8 mediums have no chance of ever penetrating the frontal armor of a Tiger 2. So it actually does have some very impressive armor. And I wouldn't say it's enough to really 100% rely on. If I'm up against another Tier 8 heavy tank, let's say like the IS-6 or even the VK168 on their team, I don't know if I'm going to fully trust the armor to get all the bounces. But at the same time, this vehicle is very good on the armor, and you can get a lot of bounces. Not to mention, people have to shoot premium if they want to cut through your armor. So here we are on Faust, and well, let's see what we can do in this game. Okay, stock STA against Droodles. Yeah, that's gonna suck. Stock STA, I have a feeling I played the STA when it was topped out, and the DPM already is quite bad on that vehicle, so I'm gonna be honest, I feel pain, I feel for you. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. IS-3, IS-6, T-34-3, VK-168. Not too bad of a lineup. As I said, the great thing about this vehicle is not only are we able to get in position very quickly, as you can see, are going 35 kilometers per hour, but the gun has plenty of penetration to cut through thick armor, so I don't really need to load premium all that much, and if I do, well, it's not really that bad because I'm gonna cut through the armor like butter. So we got the 112-2 up top here, and he actually is spotting, of course, vehicles like the IS-5. That's an IS-6, not an IS-5. I just couldn't read it. Alright, let's push our way on up, though. I'm not really seeing much. Oh, there's a 168, and, well, still, well, I guess we got the STA there. Did get a shell into the side of my turret. Not all too good for me. damage repaired. But right now, again, we're just kind of waiting. There's not much to do here. Wow, that was actually a really nice shot from that guy. You know what? That stock ST1, you better zip it, dude. That tank is easily cutting through my weak spots. Now, the thing about the ST1 is, an STA1, I guess it actually does have a pretty solid gun. All right, let's take a blind shot, though. I got to be careful here. I'm not going to really worry about that. That's just a fluke that he hit my cupola. But what isn't a fluke is us going right through the IS-6's frontal armor. And, of course, that IS-6, he's going to be taken out. So what do we have left? Well, AMX 1375 below us. Not too much of a threat there. We got the IS-3. Well, for now, let's just push our way on up. I think I was calling the STA1 the ST1 multiple times there. I'm the most big of brain. But let's push our way through, see if we can get some big shells into vehicles like the VK168 and the 34-3. Maybe I can showcase the armor doing its job here. So there you go. There's one nice tap. Maybe even give this guy a little bit of a ram. Boom! 96 hit points taken off of you. And perfect! A nice bounce right on the frontal armor. We got another tap into the T-34-3. And with that, well, yeah, I don't think this guy is enjoying my company all too much. Let's get another tap in there. Oof! No, you don't. No, you don't. Well, we got the STA there, and I should have angled it towards him. That was my mistake. But either way, let's finish off the 34-3. Oh, thank you very much. And now we got vehicles like the STA and the VK168. Now, he's shooting HE, which isn't really going to do much to me. And well, there you have it, folks. A pretty easy game done by the Tiger II. We did about 1900 damage, which isn't anything, you know, ridiculously impressive. But you could see the vehicle did its job. We were able to penetrate our shells, and I did over-angle it a little bit when that 34-3 was able to pen me in the side. I was actually more focused on that STA because I was worried about him penning me. But either way, we did solid. We did 2100 damage, which is literally our base DPM. We were able to bounce a couple shells here and there, and we survived the game using our gun to get out some very nice shots. So you can see the Tiger II, as I said, the armor's good. It's not anything broken or anything that's going to save you in a really tricky scenario. You know, tier 8 will pen you. Your sides are very weak, and you can see that the frontal armor, it can be penned by most premium rounds, but it is impressive enough that you have to load premium to pen it, and you will get quite a few bounces if you are in a scenario where the armor actually works well. That was just one of those games where our team just kind of steamrolled through, so there wasn't much to show about the armor, but it is fantastic, trust me. Moving on to the 75, this is literally just a souped up Tiger II. First of all, breaking into the armor of the 75, you're going to see just how strong it is. In fact, I'm not even going to show you what the 75 looks like to a tier 9. We're going to go up to a tier 10, and let's do the E5, which has fantastic penetration at that. Well, as you can see, the lower plate is quite weak. It's not super weak, like it is 216 millimeters thick. You know, and if you're angling that, you can get some very nice bounces on that lower plate, about 230 thick there, but it is a big weak spot, and basically any tier 9s will be penning that. Tier 8s, they'll struggle, but tier 9s, not so much. But the upper plate armor is very, very strong at that. 316 17 millimeters thick. Heat shells, of course, from a T110 E5 will pen it if you're running Cali again, but if you're not running Cali, or even with Cali, you can see that the armor, if you just angle it slightly and use literally your base gun depression, it's that thick. You know, the E75 really does have strong armor. And hull down, it's 500. Like, man, does this thing have some really strong armor going for it. So it's got a great upper plate that's basically impervious to any vehicles aiming at it. The turret, though, it's a little weak. It's only about 260 thick, and even AP shells from a vehicle like the E5 can cut through it. As well, just like the Tiger II, we do have a cupola up here, which we did see that STA1 shoot. So, we do have issues with this tank, just like the Tiger II in armor. But overall, frontally, this is a beast. And not only does this vehicle have great armor going for it, but as well, just like the Tiger II, it carries a very solid gun. 4.4 seconds of aiming time and 0.344 dispersion. Now, you might be wondering, well, why does the DPM stay the same? Why does the aiming time and dispersion get worse? Well, the alpha goes up 150 to 460 a shot. As well, the penetration on the standard goes up around 30 from 225 to 258. That is incredible. The premium pen goes from, what, 285 to 327. Like, it's great. It does not struggle whatsoever on penetrating opponents. It's got basically tier 10 levels of pen, even more than vehicles like the IS-7, which is just enough to say on its own. So that's great. It's got 8 degrees of gun depression, gaining 1 more than the Tiger II, and when we break on the mobility, it's able to go 40 forwards with an average speed of 26, instead of the 27 the Tiger II does carry. So once again, it's very similar to the Tiger II on mobility, and it's very similar on armor profile. While the lower plate is a bigger weak spot, if you can angle it correctly, you can get some very, very nice bounces in it. Now, just an FYI, if we do lose any of the games in this video, I will just do another one in it. So if we end up losing one in the Tiger or the E75, and it's not a decent game that I was able to showcase what the tank's able to do, we'll just load it into another game and see what we're able to do then. So against us, we have an E100. We've got an M6 Yo, an E75, a Vickers CR, and an M5 Yo. Those are the tanks that I'm worrying about. And actually, I guess you know what, the Ho-Ri Type 2. And now that they've buffed vehicles like the E50M, their whole team is actually really deadly. So I got to be careful. Now, our team, we've got some good tanks as well, but I am a little worried about our 4005. I'm hoping that that guy is going to be able to work his tank. Oh, and we have a patent. Well, we'll see what we can do here. And, of course, I'm hoping our 50B does not push too aggressive, because you always got to be careful where you're pushing at the beginning of the game. Now, I do know that I'm faster than vehicles like the E100, so we should be able to get into this position here. And actually, we've got vehicles like the E75 spotted off to the side, who is not aiming at me currently, meaning that we can aim in right on his vehicle. And, wow, okay, my luck is just fantastic today, isn't it? Well, let's try that again. Let's aim in a shell here, and, well, we know where they are, so that's good. And, oh, that's a Ho-Ri. No, thank you. Oof. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't, well, to be fair, I didn't really expect the Ho-Ri to be there. That is something I can say, but yeah, overall, that was just, I guess, unlucky on my part. But we did get a nice shell into the E100 there, but we are having more problems arise. We've got, of course, we know that the Ho-Ri Type 2 is waiting for me. He obviously cuts right through my frontal armor. I don't know where he hit me, but I know that he hit me quite well where it was at. So now we've got the E100 off to the side, M6 Yo over here, maybe we can get a shell in. I'm hoping, just hoping. What are we gonna do? Well, we got the Kramdong off to the side there, and there is the E100. Aim and fire. Nice tap into you. Hopefully I don't get penned by this guy. Oh, thank God we were able to back up. I was really hoping my AIM X50B did not get me stuck there. But now we've got vehicles like the Yo off to the side. Got to be worried about that, of course. Maybe we can get a nice tap into the Yo, and yeet! Perfect. Nice 477 into the Yo. And with that, we're sitting at 1,300 damage. And that's not stopping me anytime soon. We're going to reload our shell in another 5 more seconds here. Now, the thing about the DPM on this tank is, sure, while it's nothing impressive, it actually is about the same as your average tier 10 heavy tanks that carry similar alpha. Now, again, this Yo, he's shooting at me. I've watched him shoot one shell, and what that means is now he's going to be basically on a reload, which is not good for him. So I know that the Yo's on a reload. We have the, well, actually, we don't have the Ho-Ri Type 2 off to the side, which is good. I thought the Ho-Ri Type 2 was right off on this corner over here, but it looks like he's actually not. So I gotta be careful. That Yo, I know that he's got shells now. But thankfully, our Kvanvong is just pushing right over the ridge, and he's taking those shots like a champ. So let's get a shot into the side of the Yo, and yeet, finishing him off for 353. Now, I'm guessing the Ho-Ri is somewhere around here. I'm not really sure where, but he's got to be, like, right around this corner. Yeah, he's around that corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the team deal with him. Obviously, we know that they're going to do a very solid job dealing with him. Please don't drive into me. Good. And now we should hopefully be able to get some shells into vehicles like the other E75. Nice tap there. You can see where the alpha is so nice on this tank. And in fact, I'm even going to see if we can get some bounces here from the enemy tanks just to showcase the armor. So let's see if we can do that. Well, I guess not. I guess we're just going to, you know, have this happen, which I guess works just as well. Either way, we're at 2,500 damage dealt so far. And this guy, well, he's trying to block some shells from the 4005, which is not an easy feat, but actually, he did a pretty solid job at it. I'm not going to lie there. There's a nice tap into the E50M's rear, and with that, that's 3,026 damage dealt, and boom! Nice love tap right on the rear of his tank. So, once again, this is the E75. It did well. It was able to, I don't really think the armor did all too much there, but you can see what the armor's like on Armor Inspector. It's great. You can get a lot of bounces, and for any YouTuber that I've at least watched recently on this video, or this tank, they love it. It's just so nice. The gun's great. It's got a tier 10 gun. It's got tier 10 levels of armor, and even the mobility is not bad. We were easily able to do just as well as vehicles like the AIM X50B and as well the Klandong on our team in a tier 9 heavy, holding off really strong opponents. So yeah, it's a super strong tank, and we actually would have done about 3,500 if that first really wonky shell had not hit the side of that E75's turret at an interesting angle, should we put it like that. Now, breaking on to the E100, this is actually, in my opinion, the hardest of the tanks to play. And the reason for that being is because it's less forgiving. First of all, the lower plate on this tank is literally the size of Texas. It's massive, and it's weak. It has the same armor as the E75 and worse than the Tiger 2, so it's easy to pen. The E5 will literally cut through it every day, every angle, no matter what. Even over-angling it, yeah, you just go through the track wheel at that point. But the nice thing is the E75, or the E100, has incredible spaced armor on it. As we saw, the E75 has no spaced armor on the sides. It's got like a little skirt, but it doesn't really count as anything. This tank, when you over-angle it like this, it's very easy to penetrate. The E100, on the other hand, ho, 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 that spaced armor there, good luck getting through that. That is incredibly thick. That overdrapes on the sides. So that's great. As well, the turret, it's very thick. It's nothing, ridiculous. Heat shells will cut through it. In fact, easily. 292 thick. Yeah, tier 10s, even tier 9s, as we said, the E75 is about 330. So, yeah, the turret, it's weak. Even if you fully angle it, it just doesn't cut it against tier 10 standards nowadays. So that's a big issue. But there is one great thing about the E100 that we all, of course, hate and love, and that is the alpha. It has 640 as well. It's got pretty solid DPM. It's got 2,500 DPM for a tier 10 heavy with that much alpha. It's got great standard pen at 271, and the premium at 367 is plenty to cut through literally any armor, especially because this tank is much taller than other tier 10 heavies. You are able to aim down on their armor, making it even weaker. So that's great. It's got dispersion, 0.362. Again, we went from 0.38 at the Tiger 2 to 0.344 to now to 0.362. But thankfully, it actually has pretty solid on-movement dispersion, making it not all too bad overall on hitting your shells. So, here we are. Let's load into a game and see what the tank can do. Now, mobility, this is where it kind of stops. We had the E75 going 40, Tiger 2 going about 40. This tank loses 10 of those kilometers per hour, going 30. Now, it does have a very solid power-to-weight ratio. In fact, getting up to 30 is very easy. That's one super nice thing about the tank, is that it's great on that. But it still will struggle a lot. It's not like it's going to zippity-doo-dat its way into position. You will worry a bit. Now, we do have a bunch of German super heavies in this game. We got a VK90 and as well an E75. So let's see what we can do here. There's the grill zipping his way on past us. But as I said, this tank easily gets up to top speed. We're already at 30 kilometers per hour, which is nice. And you can see that the vehicles like the VK90 are keeping right up with us. But I guess that's another super heavy with the same top speed anyway. Now, we got a 4005 over here. And this guy, well, we have an HE shell ready for him. Oh, my! Well then, folks, that is one of the big disadvantages of the E100, as I went over, is the accuracy. You will struggle a heck of a lot to hit your shells with the tank. Now, thankfully, this 4005 is on reload, and with that, we're going to try again. There you go, 951. That's more like it. The first shell was just really, really stinking sad. I don't really know why it did that, but that's just what big alpha guns do with their very, very poor dispersion. So you got to be careful about that. But at the same time, yeah, that guy, I think he learned his lesson quite a bit on what the tank was able to do here. Now, we got vehicles like the Leopard over there, but at the most part right now, we're just getting him on the 4005, finishing him off. Thank you very much, good sir. We got the K91 off to our side as well, but either way, we still got 2,000 hit points left. This tank has 2,900 hit points base, which means that, yeah, I can easily pull out in front of that grill and take a lot of shells from him and not even worry. Now, that I have to worry about. That is a... yeah, that's a 183, and that basically ruins my entire push. That you have to worry about. But, for the most part, we just took a shot from a grill twice, a 183, and we're still kicking. Like, that's pretty impressive. And, well, with that grill over here, maybe, just maybe, we will be able to get a shell into him. I'm not actually sure what we're going to do right now. I got to be careful, of course. Let's see if we can, first of all, finish off this, ooh, I really want to be careful of that grill, though. You know, maybe we can get a shell into the grill. Let's push our way on through. Come on, making my way downtown. Blah, 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 and, no, you butt, and yeets! Well, we didn't really get a big shell into him. Unfortunately, that E50M kind of pushed him away from us, which probably took away about 900 potential damage there. But either way, you know what? We did solid. The E100, we could have done about 3,000 if we were able to get that final shell out, but you saw there the game kind of lagged a bit at the end. I'm not making up an excuse. That we just really couldn't get the shell out there, but it kind of... I just didn't want to take the shot because I was noticing there's a bit of a skip. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I should have taken the shot overall because I guess we lost about 700-800 damage there overall. But the E100 did good. And you know what? We'll do one more game in it to see if we can do one more solid battle. Now that game showcased, yeah, the armor, it's not amazing. For anybody that tries arguing the E100 armor is amazing, it's just not. Like, you can get bounces on it, side scraping's fantastic, and you can work it very well. It's very troll to penetrate if you know how to do it and you're a skilled player. But I never will say the armor's reliable. If I'm stuck out in the open, you saw that E100, the grill, everything pens you. It's just such an easy penetration. But we took 2 shots from a grill, a shot from an E100, and still chugged along like nothing even hurt us. So, yeah, I can't really complain. We did our job there, and a pretty solid job at that. So now we are in one more battle against another 4005, a Jagdpanzer and 48 Patton. So they got some deadly tanks. Actually, their lineup's pretty solid. So we'll see what the 100 can do here. If we lose it, you know what? No threat, no sweat. We'll see what we can do. Now, the nice thing as well about the 100, I actually just noticed here, is it holds a lot of ammo. 30 AP, 10 heat, and 10 HE. That means 50 shells in total, which is great, because you don't really need to worry about what ammo you're going to load. There are certain tier 10s that you will struggle on your ammunition loadout. That's something that's always a pain. This, it doesn't seem like that's too much of an issue, but here we are. We've got the Patton off to the side. Maybe we can get a nice shell into him. We also got the WZ-121. Let's aim in a heat shell, and boom! That's what I'm talking about. 615 taken off of the WZ-121. Again, Alpha is so nice. I don't need to hit that guy again, and we've already taken off basically half of his hit points in a standard shot. That is something that is amazing, because you don't need to hit your opponents as much to deal big chunks of damage. Now, let's see if that 121 is going to continue waiting there. Oh, he is. And with that, oh, that kind of sucks. I'm not really going to use my repair kit. I don't really think that's all too necessary. Our Super Conqueror is pushing up there, and, well, what am I going to do? Well, I really don't want to get hit. I'm sorry, Jag, but I really just don't want to get hit by that Sheridan at this current moment. But I'm going to push my way on up. Maybe we can get a shell into the WZ-121 if he backs up here, or a shell into the Patton. But I'm going to do a really sneaky thing. We're going to push our way off to the side, and we're going to see, well, just exactly... Ooh, you know what, though? That's a 4005. Turn my turret, and aiming. Boom! 881 into the 4005. Alpha is just so nice. And there's the Yag bouncing me. Now, to be fair, that Yag, I kind of expected that to bounce. It wasn't really an easy pen from him in the first place. So that's great. And we are already got a bounce. Now, in the current position I'm at, it should be a very, very tricky pen for that Jagdpanzer to get through me, just because I don't think he can actually see me, which is good. So the Yag is not much of a worry at all. Now, the Hori is going to try and take out the Patton, which is good for me, because this Patton, well, he's in a very, very tricky situation. Oof, yeah, there goes a lot of the Patton's health. And, oh, I was about to say boom, but I guess that's not much of a boom, is it? Well, you know what, Sheridan, you're going down, dude. Ha-ha, we got a nice bounce. I was able to angle the tank at the last second. And, well, this Sheridan, I don't think he's going to be enjoying his experience with Droodles all too much today. Hello there, sir. Oh, my God, you got to be kidding me. My tank wedged up? No! No! That was so sad. I'm going to be honest, that was my fault, but still, that was so incredibly sad there, what happened. That is, oh, my God. Well, you know what? Let's finish off the Patton first. This guy, he's going to be a nuisance for us. So there you go. Patton's taken out. Sheridan, not really much of a worry for me here. He's going to be taken out too. So we did okay. But man, was that shot so depressing. Oh my God. All right. Well, let's reload here. A couple more seconds left. I don't really care if the Sheridan hits me. Let's just put on our auto aim and boom. There you go. He is taken out. So I guess even though we missed our shot, it's all good. We still got a shell into him, and we didn't really lose any hit points in the process. Oof, that was really sad. My turret got wedged up there. Well, either way, we got the Jagdpanzer and we got the E5 left. Now, our Jagdpanzer, he's pretty healthy, but he's aiming at the enemy Yag, which he got a pretty beefy shell into, so that's pretty good. Now, I'm going to try and get a big old shell into the enemy T-110 E5 here. We're going to push our way on through. Hopefully, this guy is going to learn what Big Alpha really is capable of doing here. Boom! There you go. Nice tap into his turret. And with that, well, we got the Yag off to the side, but honestly, I'm not even worried about the Yag. I have no clue. Oh, the E5's turret ring's broken. That's why he's not shooting me. That's great. That's honestly so great. And now we're going to load in an HE shell, and boom! There you go. Nice HE in the rear view, finishing him off. And there you go, folks. Another very solid game for the E100. Now we're just going to angle this tank here. This is kind of how I angle my E100 is, of course, you can't really pen the vehicle when you're looking at it like this. So, very hard to cut through. Either way, we made a couple mistakes overall in today's video, but nothing too detrimental. We were able to do very solid, 3,469 damage in total. And yeah, that's the E100. Alpha is great. Being able to butter through armor like you saw on that 121 in the beginning. That was 600 hit points that no other tank would have been able to really get off. Of course, other 600 Alphas would, but we wouldn't have been able to shoot that guy really ever again apart from that one shot, so that's fantastic. Shooting at 4005, which we only got one shell into, we hit for 881, and that was a low roll. Like, it's incredible how good the alpha damage is on this vehicle, and that's what makes it such a fun tank. So personally, I love the E100. It's a great vehicle. It's able to do super strong things, and that goes for the whole line, the Tiger II, the E75, and the E100. If you wanted to grind this line and you don't have it yet, or you want to learn a thing or two about the tank, well, hopefully you learned something new in today's video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.